Close your eyes and imagine the Western Front in 1917. The air smells of wet clay, gunpowder, and decay. Artillery rolls like thunder that never stops. Men who haven't slept in days move through standing water in the dark. This is the visible war. But beneath it, another war was being fought entirely without rifles, a war of codes, whispers, and invisible hands. And it was that war that decided everything. Room 40. The ghost at the heart of British intelligence. In a nondescript room inside the Admiralty building in London, scholars and linguists worked in near-total secrecy. No weapons, no uniforms, just paper and the crackling intercepts of German transmissions. In January 1917, Room 40 decoded the Zimmermann telegram, Germany's secret proposal to Mexico to enter the war in exchange for Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. The intelligence was explosive, but using it was its own problem. Revealing it would expose Britain's code-breaking capability instantly. Their solution was masterful. Agents obtained a copy through diplomatic back channels in Mexico City, providing plausible cover. America declared war that April. Room 40 never fired a single shot. The greatest fieldcraft is leaving no trace. Not of yourself, not of your methods, not even of your presence in a moment that changed history. La Dame Blanche, the ghost network in the shadows. In occupied Belgium, over 1,000 civilians, farmers, priests, schoolteachers, organized themselves into the most effective resistance network of the war. La Dame Blanche, named after a spectral figure from local legend, stationed observers along railway lines to record German troop movements in handwritten reports, wrapped in oilcloth and passed through chains of couriers. Women moved through checkpoints guards were reluctant to search. Children carried messages folded into bread baskets. The network operated for years with extraordinary security. When the war ended, British GHQ credited them as a decisive intelligence factor. They were a shadow army the enemy never saw. Trench fieldcraft, surviving underground. The soldiers in the trenches built their own survival tradition, improvised, desperate, and ingenious. Dugouts were carved deep into trench walls and reinforced with salvaged timber, corrugated iron, and sandbags. 6 feet of earth overhead was minimum protection. Duckboards kept men above the waterline. Fresh water was lethal near the front. Shell craters collecting rainwater also held decomposing bodies. So soldiers learned to collect rainwater on stretched canvas and never drink unboiled from standing pools. Camouflage followed the same instinct. Snipers spent nights constructing ghillie suits from hessian and mud, advancing inches at a time across no man's land, then lying motionless for hours. Entire artillery batteries vanished under painted canvas nets threaded with burlap. The principle was ancient and absolute. You do not hide from the enemy's eyes. You become the landscape. Hygiene, health, and morale in the mud. Trenchfoot crippled thousands. The British Army's response was systematic: daily whale oil rubbed into feet, dry socks changed whenever possible, any numbness reported immediately. Lice were unavoidable. Soldiers called them chats and picked them from clothing seams in quiet moments together, running candle flames along the fabric to kill eggs. These rituals were not incidental. They were functional survival discipline. Dark humour, letters from home, the pre-dawn rum ration, all of it was morale maintenance as fieldcraft. The soldiers who endured longest were not the strongest. They were the ones who kept their routines and their bonds with the men beside them. The lesson that outlived the war. Room 40 proved that information, wielded with patience, could move nations. La Dame Blanche showed that the invisible, people who looked like no one of consequence, could become a decisive force. And the men in the trenches demonstrated day after muddy day that the will to adapt and endure is not a quality of exceptional individuals. It is latent in all of us, unlocked by necessity. Those are skills. They can be learned. They have always been learnable, and that is exactly why we're here. If this episode connected with you, subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles and share this video with someone who values history, self-reliance, and the art of survival. Every share keeps this kind of deep story-driven history alive.